Hey there, Dr. Royer here. I wanted to give you a brief overview of sleep architecture and how it works before we meet about your specific results. Um, Sleep is not really the best word to describe everything we do at night. It'd be kind of like me saying, "What did you do today?" And you said I was awake. Well, there's so much more to it, and sleep's a significant process. It may be the most important thing that you do all day long. And so when we look at the sleep study, you used the machine where we put the stickers on the back of your head and it measured EEG all night long. So it measured this electrical current that keeps you alive. If you've watched the other video about EEG assessment, you know this electrical current goes in different speeds. And so this nighttime sleep study device is able to measure that different speeds and take snapshots every couple seconds of what's going on so that we can map out how much you spent in different stages of sleep. It's literally like building a house at night, and some people build very strong, resilient houses, and some people build little tin shacks that make it very difficult to manage the storms of the day. And so we want to work on looking first at your sleep architecture and then trying to come up with ways that will help enhance your overall sleep architecture. But we first have to find out, well, what are the basic principles? So when you look at this graph, this sleep architecture graph, you're going to notice the orange slices versus the dark blue and the light blue and the gray slices. If you look way to the right, you'll see over here it says wake, REM, light, and deep. The heights of those show us what stage it is. So the tall orange ones are when the brain is awake. And so this individual, we're looking at all these different slices, and you can see these micro slivers throughout the night. And then you can see as they approached later into their sleep cycle, they became more restless and eventually woke up. So that is awakenings. We don't want too much of that. Qualitatively, it looks like it's a little bit too much, but we're going to actually get the exact number to the minute of how much, to the second actually, of how much of those awakenings happened. The light gray is light sleep. That doesn't really do a lot for us. It's more of a conduit into different stages. So we go from awake through light, and then we might go into deep, which are these dark blue. Those are super important. And then you have the light blue, which are REM. So the actual structure of this is that the first 4 hours of your sleep should primarily be deep sleep. And you can see for this person that a lot of the first half of this is dark blue deep sleep. And that's because your first purpose of sleep is to build back the body as quick as possible. And deep sleep does that. Builds back the large organs, works on different hormones in your body. And usually within about 4 hours, the body is ready to go. And that's why some people say, well, I only need a few hours of sleep. That is correct for the body, but it's not correct for the brain, because the brain needs the next 4 hours to do all the REM pieces that we see here, which is the kind of aqua or light blue color here. We need to have a lot of that REM late in our sleep cycle. And you can see this person has some maybe a third of the way through, then they give us some, but then they start having all this light stuff going on with a little bit more blue, and then they just wake up and they're going to need more REM. So there's some actual numbers that we want to look at. First of all is something called a latency. Latency is the amount of time it takes you to get to sleep. We want this to be between 8 and 20 minutes. If it's too quick, like some people say, my head hits the pillow, I fall asleep, that may not be the best thing. If it's under 8 minutes, that's actually a sleep latency disorder, meaning the brain is so fatigued, the body is so fatigued that it's not working its way into sleep, which can cause disruption later in the sleep cycle. More than 30 minutes would be considered insomnia. So 8 to 20 is kind of the sweet spot for getting to sleep, okay? This person actually was about 16 minutes, so they did okay getting to sleep. Then the next thing we want to look at is total sleep. The ideal would be that you would have a total amount of actual sleep that's taking out all the orange that you see which when we account for the normal amount of orange to get to sleep and the ones that happen at night, means you probably need to be in bed for about 8 hours and 30 minutes to actually get the full total sleep that we want. There'll be a calculation that's done that measures your amount of time in bed versus how much you slept. That's called your sleep efficiency. That actually changes throughout the lifespan, but in general, we want to say 85% or higher. The younger the person is, the higher this should be, okay? Then WASO is a sleep term, a sleep architecture term, and it means wake after sleep onset. And that accounts for all these orange slices that happen after I've gone to sleep. It's expected to maybe have about 20 minutes of that. 30 is about the max. You start to get more of that, and then we have insomnia that's happening later in the sleep cycle. It's not initial insomnia, but it's waking up throughout the evening. A lot of times you'll see this about halfway through the cycle, around 2 a.m., that we'll start to see these awakenings. Then the amount of dark blue that we want to see, which again is primarily going to be the first half of sleep, we want 2 hours would be ideal, which would be about 25% of your sleep cycle. So we can have somebody that's sleeping 6 hours and their deep sleep might be within that 25% window, but it still doesn't hit the absolute value of 2 hours. So that's what we're looking for there. REM sleep is rapid eye movement. And again, like we said earlier, that's going to happen more in the second half of sleep. And that's the long-term investment into your brain, memory functioning, processing speed, problem solving, creativity. Deep sleep allows you to function tomorrow. REM sleep lets you function tomorrow, but it's more about the long-term investment. It's like your retirement fund, whereas deep sleep is kind of like what's in my wallet today, right? So we need to be investing in both. And REM sleep is a big predictor of what's going to happen later in life in your cognitive functioning. That should be about 2 hours of the 8-hour cycle of sleep. About 4 hours of an 8-hour cycle will be light sleep. But in general, we want REM to be about 25% of sleep. So the combo of deep and REM should equal right around 50%. You're going to see your numbers over here on the right when it's time to do the assessment. Hopefully you have this base information so that when I give you your numbers, you can kind of slide them into this spot and kind of see what it is that you need to work on. If your numbers are off, don't worry about it. We've been doing this for a very long time, and we're really experts at working with the hormones related to sleep, working with sleep architecture in general, building better sleep hygiene, and ultimately optimizing the brain so that it can get the most out of a night of sleep.